I'd like to welcome you in the first webinar, first of 3 webinars, which are going to be held in the next weeks. Webinars about the destination of data lake. Today we're going to introduce you the first component which is dedicated to data access, data discovery, download the data, something which is called harmonized data access, so-called HDA. And I will lead this together with my colleague Paulina Chlebowska from Cloudfero and with Obelam Bar from CS. My name is Patrick Grzybowski. I'm a data scientist in Cloudfero. And as I said, next week there will be other parts about some specific services, Stack and Hook, and at the very end we're going to introduce you how to set up your own virtual machine, virtual environment, Kubernetes clusters on on the data lake infrastructure. Okay, so at the very beginning, what I'd like to introduce you what the destination Earth data lake is, what the destination Earth initiative is. Then I would like to present you how to create an account on one of the service of destination, so-called DESP. Then Paulina will go through the destination Earth data lake portal. Then I'm going to introduce you some real-life examples, some notebooks which use scripts in Python dedicated to using data from data lake. Then Aubin will present you the real use case about Danube Delta, and then I will introduce you shortly some other services which are going to be introduced more in the next webinars, and finally, of course, some kind of summary and Q&A session. Okay, so let's start with the first point, what the destination Earth is. So it's a flagship initiative of the European Commission, which aims to develop a highly accurate digital replica of the Earth. In fact, many replicas, because it's not only about creating one kind of data sets, it's about creating a lot of them. For now, we have 2 digital twins, Extreme DT and Climate DT. And they are the part of something which is called digital twins and digital twin engine. So we have 3 main components of DestinE, which are mentioned: digital twins and digital twin engine, which are about this digital twin data. But your journey of each user starts with core service platform, which is the place where you have to create your account, register in order to use any of services provided by DestinE, including data lake. Then that data lake is a place which provides you tools to deal with the data, infrastructure, also the data itself, the tools which helps you discover and access this data, including harmonized data access, which will be introduced in the next minutes. Okay, so a little bit more about this destination Earth data lake itself. I mentioned that it's about data, about some tools. Today I'm going to introduce you how to access this data, but what makes it exceptional is distributed infrastructure. Infrastructure which is distributed over the Europe. 3 of sites, which are called data bridges, are set up just next to the HPCs. What are these data bridges? These data bridges are cloud on the edges, located, I mentioned to you, just next to the HPCs or other important data centers over Europe. Why? Because HPC doesn't provide storage, virtual machines or something like that. Yeah. But the data which is generated by digital twins is generated on HPC. So it was decided to set up such an infrastructure just next to the HPCs. Also, to other sites which are located in Darmstadt, in the EUMETSAT headquarters, and in Warsaw. They are also the part of the data lake infrastructure. Why? Yeah, this is the question. Why do we need this? Let's imagine you are the user. You want to use, for example, digital twin data. So if you want to use it, the best way to set up your infrastructure is to choose Lumi site in Kayani, because the digital twin data is generated over there. Yeah. So in order to avoid some latency, or maybe not avoid, but reduce this latency, the best way is to set up your virtual machine, your environment, virtual environment on this site. But if you use, let's say, metadata or MetaOSAT data, the best way to reduce this latency is to set up your infrastructure in EUMETSAT, EUMETSAT Bridge, EUMETSAT Cloud. If you're going to use Sentinel data, the best way is to set up your infrastructure on data center in Warsaw. Okay, this was about the infrastructure. Now, I'd like to introduce you some services which are provided by a data lake. So, firstly, HDA. HDA, which is going to be introduced just today. It's about data access, data discovery, download the data. But there are also the second, there's also the other part and other services, so-called edge services, which are services on request. Still, of course, free of charge, but you have to request for these services. It's about Jupyter Lab, about some function as a service, about this infrastructure, virtual machines, virtual environments. At the very end of this presentation, I'm going to introduce you briefly also these services. Okay, so let's start with some hands-on activities. Now I'd like to introduce you how to create an account, because as I said, your journey starts with DESP. If you want to use data lake services, you have to be a registered user of a DESP platform. Okay, so please confirm that you can see my my screen with platform DestinE. Okay, I will go on. Okay, so to sign, just you need to navigate to sign in button, of course. If you're already registered, just put it here, your username and password. If you're not registered, you have to click on register and fill this form. No sensitive information, username, password, email, first name, last name, country, user profile, which is also important in terms of further accessing the digital twin data. So this is why this this form is also with a user profile. Okay, if you're registered, if you fill the form, I think that in a minute, maybe 2 minutes, you should receive that a confirmation email, and then you can be the user of different DestinE services. Okay, but I will back over here. I will stop sharing my screen for the second in order to get my password. Okay, and when you log in the service, now you can use some default services, including some services provided by a data lake. How to get to data lake, in fact? you have to navigate to services. Then you have to find access DestinE data on the edge. Choose, let's say, harmonized data access. Now you can navigate, go to the service, and here you are in the data portfolio side of the DestinE portal. Of course, you can just go to the data.destinationnerve.eu. It's also possible to get to the to the platform in this way. And one more thing. I told you that by default you are granted with an access to the HDA, to the data, to discover the data. But if you want to use destination Earth digital twins data, you have to upgrade your upgrade your say access policy upgrade. Yeah. So to do in order to do that, again you have to go to this username in the upper right corner, then click on access policy upgrade. And now, depending what you choose in this user profile, I choose this. So I have a button like apply here, and now I can access I can request for this upgrade upgrade possibilities with destination or digital twin data. If you choose, I don't know, some scientific institution, I guess that you will find your button in academia and research. Okay, so it was about creating an account and accessing the sport service platform, as well as how to upgrade your account to get an access to DT data. Some QR codes. Maybe I will leave it, let's say, for a few seconds to scan it. Okay, and now I will give the floor to Paulina, who is going to introduce you our portal. So Paulina, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Patrick. I'm just trying to share my screen right now, and please confirm when you can see it already.
I can see it, yeah.
Okay, then let's just start. So welcome all of you again. I'm Paulina from Cloudfaro, and I'm in charge of the website DestinE. So we are currently on the DEDL web page, which is your entrance to all of the DestinE Data Lake Edge services. If you want, you can from here also access our sister sites, so DestinE platform that Patrick was showing before, as well as community website. But let's stay on DEDL web page right now. And I will just give you a quick overview of everything you may find here that should be useful in your future work with data lake services. So first of all, as you can see, I'm already logged into the portal. And if you click on this button, you'll be redirected to My Data Lake Services. Here you can manage your projects, your organizations, request access to additional services, and so on. But this is not the topic for now. So I will move back to the web page, and this topic will probably be discussed in depth at a different time. However, let's move back. So firstly, let's go to the Services tab. And Patrick already provided you with a short overview of all the Our Edge services, but let me just show you it again. So here you will get a brief explanation on what our Edge services are and how to access them through My Data Lake services. So the component I was just showing you that you access via this button. Moving below, you will see all the Edge services listed. And as you may already see, there are some additional options here. So you will see between 1 to 3 buttons on each of those cards. And depending on the service, you may be able to access it directly. So for some of the services, you will be able to just click on the button and see immediately the service. In some other cases, the access is not direct, which means you will have to access it through other services, for example. Each of the service offers documentation. If you click on the button, you'll be redirected to read the docs section about this particular service. So here we have, for example, ILET. For some of the services, we also created Jupyter Notebook examples that you will be able to see when clicking on Check Examples. We have Hook, we have Stack, and HDA here. So that would be all for the brief overview of all the Edge services and how you can access them from the portal. And since this webinar is mostly about HDA, let's move to the data portfolio side that Patrick already showed you a little bit. Okay, so data portfolio is connected to HDI API. And here you will be able to see a list of all the datasets available in HDA at the moment. However, here you will not be able to actually access or download the data. This is an informational site, let's say so. So we offer you a built-in filters to allow you to filter datasets only to those that fit your specifications. We also group the datasets by collections for your convenience. If you enter the dataset, you will see a quick overview of its contents. So as I mentioned, this page won't allow you to download the data, but it will allow you to browse through datasets and find what you're looking for before going to HDA and requesting to download the specific data. That's it on data portfolio. So let's see, the next step we have is support. You will find two pages here. First of all, let's go to status page. Status page will allow you to check for availability of services per site. Let's see, Central, for example. Here you see that all our services are currently available, and you'll also to see some reminders about planned work that may affect or disrupt what you're trying to achieve. Second page in support redirects you to desk platform once again. And here you will find a page with answers to your questions on specific topics. But also, if you have a specific problem, you will also be able to report it via Contact Us button. You will find this form that you can report any specific issues you may be having. Next page we have above here is documentation, and I've already gave you a glimpse of documentation when showing the services. So if you click on documentation, you will see the whole Read the Docs page. So here, the comprehensive documentation on the whole DestinE data lake ecosystem can be found. Please get familiar with it. Maybe after the webinar will be a great time. So if you have any more specific questions, I'm sure most of the answers can be found here. And the last section you can see above here is Learn section. So if you're looking for any additional resources, please check this tab. First of all, under the first link, you will see the redirection to our GitHub. Next, you will find use case scenarios. So for now, we offer 8 results here. And this will allow you to see possible applications of data lake services in the real world. I believe one of those will be presented later on. And finally, in the Learn section, we also have tutorials and webinar stuff. So here we collect all the audiovisual content that may be helpful in understanding what we offer to you better. Right now, you will see the tutorials that will link you to our YouTube page. But this page will be very soon enriched with even more educational content for your convenience. We will add not only more videos, but also podcasts, etc. And we will be updating webinars here as well. So this is what you can find on the website at this time. However, some exciting updates are coming soon. So we are adding a new section where we will be informing you of all the upcoming events, new services, new functions, and everything that we are making for you. Next, we are updating data portfolio site. So this will be enriched with new data sets as well as more filtering capacity. So you can find what you're looking for even more easily. And as I've already mentioned, we are expanding the Learn section to offer you even more type of information here. So not only videos, but also some podcasts. And in the future, we are working on providing you with chatbot as well. So not only documentation will be able to browse, but you will be able to get the answers quite straightforward from the chatbot that will be implemented on the website. And for now, that is it. That's the scope of what we have here. And I believe another person can take the floor now. Thank you.
Thank you, Paulina. Okay, now I will again share the screen. So again, please confirm that you can see it.
You can see.
Great. So this was about the portal. Now I'd like to introduce you some examples of how to use harmonized data access, how to use our notebooks, which are provided via Stack service, via our GitLab. Also, I will show you some limitations. What is allowed, what is not allowed for the users by default, what's allowed for each user, maybe some things which are allowed for some, which even for not registered users. So let's start with this. Let's start with these notebooks. But now a few words about harmonized data access itself, because this part is going to be, in fact, only about harmonized data access. So harmonized data access is a tool to discover and access the data, as I mentioned before, which provides you an access to data sets from various data providers. Which provides around 200 collections, including, of course, digital twin data. But what is significant, you can access harmonized data access, data lake services through using one credentials, using one API. So if you want to use, I don't know, digital twin data, some Copernicus data, Sentinel data, some data from MedUp, you don't have to be a registered user on four of these four platforms which provide this data, but it's enough to be a registered user of DestinE, and by default you have an access to HDA. So with this one pair of credentials and one API which is based on Stack, you can access this 200 collection. So very convenient. You don't have to, as I said, be registered on many websites, many portals, and you're not forced to know many kinds of API because it's based on Stack. I mentioned about different providers. Which provides data through HDA, so Cleodaya, SUMETSAT, ESA, Eurostat, ECMWF, of course, Copernicus services. Important thing, data lake doesn't duplicate the data. So we use something which is called federation in order to get an access directly to the provider. So that's why we can use one pair of credentials, because there is a data federation and application federation between data lake layer and provider layer. Okay, and after this brief introduction to HDA, now we can start with notebooks. Okay. Here. So this is the Stack, one of the service which is available on request. As I said at the very beginning, in the next webinars, we will be introduced how to get an access to these services, so-called web services. But today, I just want to show you how to run some scripts, how to use HDA. So in fact, you don't have to use it directly in Stack or any JupyterLab environment. You can access it through REST API, through command line, through some Python scripts, custom Python scripts developed by you. So it's not a problem. For the user. Of course, HDA will be used on your local environment through the Stack service, which is just demonstrating. And for example, for some by some virtual environments, virtual machine. Okay, so let's start with those examples. On Stack service, there are uploaded different scripts, different tutorials, which are published on our GitHub, which is DestinE Lab. This is it. This is exactly the same, what is uploaded to the Jupyter Lab environment. There are many tutorials which are really up to date about using HDA, different data sets through HDA, how to use Stack, how to use Hook. So you can use this tutorial in order to get to be more familiar with HDA and data link. Okay, but let's start to that point, to the Jupyter Lab environment and to the scripts which were prepared. So we start with HDA, with some kind of introduction to HDA interface. Give me a second. Yeah, I had to refresh it. Okay, so as I said, first the HDA, then REST, and here there is a script called HDA REST Quick Start. So quick introduction, quick start to HDA. At the very beginning, of course, some libraries, Python libraries, which are required to deal with, maybe not required, but good to have them in order to work with DestinE data. And here the some endpoints, definition of collection ID. So this is the endpoint which is which is dedicated to HDA, the common one. In fact, you can also connect to HDA, which is deployed on some specific sites. So I mentioned we have these 5 sites over the Europe. So, for example, if you want to connect with Lumi, you can just add Lumi before the data. But we're going to use this custom one. Let's start. So even if you're not a registered user, you can, let's say, search for collections which provide some data about some information about chlorophyll. So let's do some request. And now there's a response with collections which provides some data about the chlorophyll. But you can list this data as a not registered user. You can find these collections, but you can't search for specific products, for specific items, and of course you are not able to download them. So in order to do that, you have to log in. Here you have to provide your credentials from DestinE service platform. Okay, and response code is 200. Access token obtained successfully. So we can go on. We can now search for some specific items, specific products, and then try to download them. As HDA is based on Stack, I guess that some of you which are familiar with Stack know some basics fields like data and bbox, sort by year. So it's always the same for each of these 200 collections provided by HDA. Of course, there are some other parameters which also can be included within the query, but let's start with this basics one. So Now we're looking for some Sentinel-free data from September 2024. And 3 items were not Sentinel free. Sorry, Sentinel 2 was here. Yeah. And in order to download this data, you have to run this piece of code. The structure is typical for Stack. Yeah, so there is a download link in the asset parameters. There, it can be found. Also, it is possible to download specific assets, not the whole product, which I'm just doing, but it's also possible to download specific assets, specific bands, which I'm going to demonstrate you in the next scripts, which will be dedicated to EODAC tool. But for now, let's say this basic form of downloading the data. And as I mentioned, this data, it's not downloaded from some magic data store of data lake. It's downloaded from CryoDias, so from Warsaw Data Center. And it was downloaded. Sentinel-2 image, the full Sentinel-2 image was downloaded. Okay, so this was the quick introduction into HDA. As I said, you can use it wherever you want in each environment, your own virtual environment or Jupyter Lab, just as you want. Okay, it was about HDA. Maybe now let's start to download some other data. I told you that HDA is about federation, so it would be well to verify if it's possible to download and display some EUMETSAT data from different data stores from different providers. Yeah. So let's try with metadata data. Again, the beginning is just the same. Some libraries, authentication, definition of endpoint, definition of collection, and query, and some method image was found. Okay, now we try to download it. Download link was extracted from the response and delete this response. And now using SatPy, we're going to read the download and display it. I missed that image is not downloaded yet. So in fact, we are here right now. We have to wait. I guess that 2 or 3 minutes. Yeah, and the image was downloaded. You can see it here, and also there's a status. Okay, now we can delete the response. It was already deleted here. Okay, upload this. Go for the next cells of the Jupyter. And now visualize the data set. It will be the NDVI over Spain. Yep, and we have an image. Great. So I didn't lie to you. Yeah, due to HDA, it's possible to download data both from CryoDias and from a humid site data store. Federation works. But now let's try with some different, let's say, different interface. Now I'm going to introduce you how to use PyStack to get an access to HDA. Of course, this script is also available through this GitHub. Paulina mentioned to you that the portal is connected with the HDA API, and here you can get a list of all collections. Of course, it's not only possible via PyStack; it's possible through REST API as well. But in this example, you can see that all collections which are provided through HDA. So you can see some ECMWF data, ISA data, humid-sat data, a lot of this. Let's take a look on who provides data. I mentioned a presentation about various data providers. Again, some kind of check. Is it true? Yeah, it is true. Yeah, it is true. There are data provided by ISA, by ECMWF, Destination Data Lake, by Eurostat as well, by NASA. By NASA, I mean Landsat images. So also you can interact with the API through PyStack. Okay, so again, let's try to download some data. This time, data from Sentinel-1. But of course, the one of the main advantage of Stack is is a possibility to access an asset. Yeah, one specific asset, specific bands, not download all images, entire images. Of course, through the HDA, it is also possible. So I don't know if you want to get a thumbnail or quick look of the image, you can access it through PyStack and display quick look image. Of course, you can also download some specific asset. Here we have a download link. Yeah, this is the cell dedicated to download the file, and here we have a download link, which was here in the list of asset. But of course, you don't have to use this download link. You can use, let's say, some specific polarization, VH in this example. So replace download link with VH. And it should be downloaded in a few minutes. Of course, the Sentinel-1 data is huge, even if it's one polarization. So we have to wait, I guess, 1 or 2 minutes to complete this task. And this one specific asset was downloaded to home directory. Okay, so I demonstrated that federation works, that different interfaces works. Now let's try it with some other tool, with EODAC. gain tutorial for EODAC also could be found in HDA directory, and we choose Quick Start, EODAC Quick Start for some quick introduction. Yeah. Yeah, that's really cool because it also provides you a lot of interactive tools. Not only, let's say, this simple lists of collection. This time we try with some Sentinel-free data. Okay, for Sicily, it can be good. Some image was found. And now we can download the data. Body of requests is a little bit different than in case of, let's say, REST API and PyStack, but of course it's based on the same parameters which are provided by HDA. Image is still being downloaded. Yeah, it could take a while because this product of Sentinel-free is quite big, so that's why. But you can see that I guess it is that, but still we have to wait. There are some files which are which I downloaded, in case of preparation for this webinar. We're still waiting for that one. In the meanwhile, maybe I will show you also the plugin, the EODAC plugin, which is which is provided with Stack. Maybe it's not directly the part of HDA in this case, but as EODAC is related to HDA, I will introduce it briefly. So on Stack in this Jupyter Lab environment, which is provided by Data Lake, you can find the EODAC plugin over here on the left panel. Oh, in the meanwhile, the product was fully downloaded. Yeah, but about this EODAC plugin, let's say it is a tool to generate your query in more interactive way. So you can choose the data provider, but you don't have to. you can you can select some specific data set. So we tried with Sentinel-3 again. Let's try with Sentinel-3. You can generate the query, preview the results, and also get a snippet of code which allows you to download and request and download data provided by HDA, also in that more interactive way. Okay, but it will be introduced more in the next webinar, which is going to be held in the 2 weeks. Now, I'd like to show you some limitation. I mentioned to you that DestinE data, digital twins data, it's not it's not allowed for the users by default. You have to request for some upgrade of your role as a user. So how to download this data, and what have you do? So when you the registered user with no upgrade created account, something like that happens. Login is successful, but here there's a snippet of code which verify if you're granted with an access or not. And access to DT outputs is denied for this specific user because I didn't request for this policy upgrade. But when I use my different account, which is granted within this specific access, again, of course, login is successful, but I have an access to DT output. Here, DT output access is allowed. So now I can download the data. So finally, we have some different parameters and bbox and date time. What kind of fields are possible to be filtered? So this is the question. So HDA provides the endpoint, which is called queryables. Let's say again something standard for Stack, and you can find the fields which are possible to be filtered through HDA. Of course, in case of digital twin outputs, you can also use some other tutorials, or I don't know, ECMWF tutorials to know about how to query the data. Okay, so this is the query. Now run the query. Status shipping, but here I can monitor the status, and when the data is ready to be downloaded, I received the endpoint to download URL to download the data. Now I can download it, and using EarthKit tool, EarthKit package, I'm able to visualize the DT data. So it was about the climate DT. Extreme DT is a little bit more tricky because data from extreme DT is provided for last 14 days. It's a rolling archive, so you can't download the data, let's say, from September, yeah. But the way to access this data is completely the same. Maybe I'll show you that for this worse account, let's say, I can download the data. Access is denied, but one thing, but to be sure, access denied, yeah. And now I will try with my upgraded account. And I will choose 27th of October. And now I can download it. Again, it's in the shipping status, but after running this, after a few tries, several tries, I guess I will be able to download the data. Okay, product's ready to be downloaded. It's just a XRI after loading it to the environment. And now in a few seconds it should be visualized. So I demonstrate you briefly how to use HDA, what is it, how it works, that federation works, that it is possible to download data from RioDIAS, from UMETSAT data store, from let's say digital twin engine. So we have this free, in this case, in this demonstration, free different provided data from 3 different providers. I also demonstrated that you can use different interfaces, different tools to access HDA. In fact, it's just API, yeah. So you can choose, you can use whatever you want. That's it, yeah. And we have the image of DT Extreme output. Okay, for now, that is from my side. Now I'd like to introduce you my colleague Aubin, who is going to tell a little bit more about the real use case. The use case where we choose the data from digital twins, from HDA, from different data like services. So Aubin, the floor is yours now. I can. Okay, this is the presentation.
Hello.
Hello, well, now we can hear you.
Okay, great. Thanks, Patrick.
Do you want to share the screen, or I just flip
You
to the next?
you can share it and
Okay, can you see it?
all right. I guess that should be better.
Well,
Thanks, Patrick, for the introduction first. So hello everybody. So I'm Aubin from SIS Group, and today I'm going to show you, illustrate a real use case of the how we can leverage and use the DestinE data lake services to monitor a situation. So the objective of that use case was to try to leverage all those different services that Patrick already introduced, and Paulina as well, on the data lake, all those services that you saw, and how we can bring those use those services to add value and bring value to a real use case. So here, what you see is with that use case, we were able to also pull data from a remote cloud, so using the European weather cloud. So we show also that there is this capability of exchanging and data and compute resources with external cloud services. That's a possibility. And we pull data from the data lake using the HDA API, but also additional services that I will also illustrate a bit after. Thanks, Patrick. So what you see here is the workflow of processes that were developed for that use case. So it went all the way using the data lake services from the data, so including the collecting of the data, usage of the data from the data lake, processing of the data, going into the model, post-processing until the creation of a dashboard, also using data lake services. So what you can see in orange is a service called Islet Compute that we used that allows us to create virtual machines to run our processes. So from on these services, we created post-processing and data preparation algorithm, pull data, querying the HDA API, and fed this data to our like a processing algorithm such as Surfwater. Then here we had the Islet storage, which is another service offered by the DestinE data lake that you can use to store your data between different stages on your processing. And then after that, another additional post-processing algorithm. We also leverage the Hook service. So Hook is also a DestinE data lake service that is available to users on the platform. And the Hook allows you to trigger some kind of processing algorithm and pulling data from the HDA. So we were able, thanks to Hook, to feed directly the models with the data from the HDA. We needed additional data coming from the European weather cloud, so that's why we had a connection also to this European weather cloud, and we used again Islet storage as a transition phase. And also the last one that we used is the DT climate adaptation. So the one that you showed, that Patrick showed you just before with the DT outputs. And this everything served to feed a dashboard that you can, with this dashboard, you can monitor in real time the situation of the Danube Delta. So this use case was on the Danube Delta. And with this dashboard, you can have real-time situation about what's the current water level, what's the situation of the water bodies around in this delta, and you can compare this with the current precipitations and other parameters. So to be able to achieve this, we had to mix different data sources. So thanks to the HDA and data lake here, we were able to get the data from all those different various sources while keeping simple and unique mechanism. Like we didn't need to interface with 100 different kind of APIs. So the DT outputs for the weather forecast, we also access some hydrological data sets on the HDA. The Landsat 8 and 9 from the NASA also available on the HDA. On the HDA, we also leverage additional data. It's not satellite data. It's also it's more in situ data. So we have the measure from the ground stations all around the Danube River using the Danube HIS system, and of course the weather data from this European weather cloud. So that was quick, but yes, that's an illustration to demonstrate to you how you can put all those pieces together, all those services together, and how they can serve you and help you to create a real practical use case on the data lake. So thanks, and back to you, Patrick.
Thank you very much, Abel. Okay, so it was about the use case, and now I'd like to make some kind of introduction for the next webinar, which is going to be held in the 2 weeks, about the edge services of the DEL. It will be brief introduction. We are going into the details. So the first one is Stack. Stack with the K at the end, so it's something different than the data catalog. Stack, which in a nutshell, it's a Jupyter Lab environment which is deployed on different data bridges, different sites, which I mentioned at the very beginning of the webinar. So firstly, it's about Jupyter Lab. Secondly, it's about Dask clusters. What about this Dask? So it is possible through using Stack, using Dask deploying on Stack, to run your job on different sites, depending what kind of data you use. So let's say if you, again, this example with Sentinel, Metop, and Digital Twin. So you have some kind of analysis, maybe similar to the one which was presented by Oben. So if you have some piece of data which has to be analyzed, processed, and it is digital twin data, you can run your job, your process on Lumi site, for example. Yeah, but within the same analysis, you want to make some analysis with Sentinel data, so you can run your job on central site. And finally, there is some analysis with UMETSAT data with Metop. Then you can schedule your job on UMETSAT in Darmstadt Bridge. So and it could be done using one script, yeah, using one interface. It is possible due to Dask to run your job on different sites, again, in order to reduce latency, in order to avoid this latency. It's about the processing data just next to the data. The second service, which is Hook, it is a functional service. It was mentioned by Oben as well. So it is about predefined processors which are provided within the data lake. For example, data harvesting or calculating coherence, backscattering, and so on. So it's about Hook. It's available through REST API and OpenEO API. And finally, we have ILET. ILET, which could be divided into two parts: ILET compute and ILET storage. ILET compute is about infrastructure, providing virtual environments, virtual machines, Kubernetes clusters. Some pre-configured images are provided to the users by default, so you don't have to, let's say, install many packages. But of course, you can create your own basic image. What's important, not only how CPU is provided, but also GPU. ILET storage is about storage, about accessing and managing the object storage provided by ILET, and which is in fact connected with the ILET compute. Okay, and this is the QR code when you can request for the edge services. This four of edge services. Each of them will be introduced in the next webinars. Okay, but how you can access it? Let's say a quick guide. So firstly, you have to be registered users of DestinE. Yeah. Then you have to log in on the destination of data lake page, and then you have to go navigate to the tab which was demonstrated by Paulina, this My Services tab, and then there you can find some specific forms which are needed to be filled in order to get an access to edge services. Okay, and that was all for this webinar. I hope you enjoy it. Some kind of summary, quick summary, if if you have to remember some key points. So firstly, about HDA, one credentials, one API, access to around 200 collections. Yeah. Edge services stack, which is about virtual visualization, about processing data in web browser, but also maybe even mainly about parallel computation on different sites. Hook, which is about functional service, so you don't have to code some pipelines, some for workloads, because they are ready to be used. And islet is about computing power, about virtual machines, including GPU, about processing data just next to the data, and about access to S3 storage. And at the very end, I encourage you to visit our GitHub, which was mentioned many times during this webinar. There you can find a lot of tutorials about all of our services and the many data sets. And that's all from my side. If you have any question, you can write me. You can catch me on LinkedIn as well. If you have any questions dedicated to HDA, to data lake, I hope I can help you. And that's all. Thank you very much. And if you have any question, we still have a Q&A session. Thank you, Paulina. Thank you, Oberon.
Thank you to all panelists. So if you have any questions, please type them in the Q&A box, and we will try to answer them. Apologies, answer them now. Right, so if there are no questions, so as you can see, there is also an email address, so you can connect to LinkedIn for further information. And thank you a lot to our panelists today and to all the participants. We'll be also sharing the recording, so thank you all for your participation.